a traveling light. There's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where I am.
Yeah. I like people that are very blunt with the cook.
Yeah.
Because that's something, when someone does that, I just go like, oh, we were raised in different households.
Yeah.
Because like if you criticized anything my mother made, you'd be wearing it, and then she wouldn't make you food for the week. It'd be like, oh, I see. I come home from work, 2 shifts. I decide to put some fish sticks in the toaster oven for you, make you rice, ketchup on each individual fish stick, just like you, but you don't like. Oh, Mr. Fancy. Well, you can make your own food.
Yeah. There's books of cereal on the counter.
Yeah, there's books of cereal.
I don't know why she's a Russian.
It's close.
Similar.
It's close.
One of my favorite stories. Do you know Alexis at all?
No, I actually, when you said the name, I assumed girl. But then you're like guy, and I'm like, I definitely don't know him.
He's a great comic, good friend. He has a sports show on CBS now.
Oh.
But he's a big food guy. We ran food tours together.
Oh, nice.
But he's very critical of all food.
Wow.
And we were at my festival years ago, and Mike Racine was eating chili. We had like this big chili event, and he was eating, and he saw me come up, and he goes, because me and Alexis ran together for a long time, and he goes, "Are you with Alexis?" I go, "No, why?" He goes, "Good. I really wanted to enjoy this chili before he told me why I shouldn't." Other man, that is such a perfect way of telling somebody they're a dickhead. It made me so happy.
Yeah,
I really want to enjoy this chili.
You and I have that because you're critical. You can be critical of food, and sometimes I tell you, let me just enjoy it first, and then leave your skepticism for the end. Because sometimes you'll say something, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, you're right," and then now I'm like, "This is crap." But I've been doing it a lot more. I've been getting a little.
You've been getting critical.
I've been
too,
getting a little highfalutin when it comes to the food I eat, and I've been starting to not finish food, which is a big like. This is crap. This is disrespectful to the art of burgers. I went to a Whataburger in Colorado.
Waste of flesh.
Yeah,
That's the worst. When meat's bad, get out of here.
that's where we had an undercooked. I had an undercooked hamburger at Whataburger in Colorado Springs. Whataburger just expanded to out of Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they've been out of Texas, but now they're in Colorado Springs, and it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. I'm done with that argument. You know, and Whataburger in Texas is good, but it's like, have you had In-N-Out in Texas?
No.
Horrible.
Is it bad?
It's bad. I think what Whataburger did is they fired they took their worst employees, and they're like, we're not firing you, but we are encouraging you to get hired at In-N-Out. And we'll pay you on the side, because remember when we had In-N-Out in Texas? It was god awful. Like the employees didn't know how to. They're like, "What? Yeah. What is all this?" And it was the worst burger ever. And that's how Whataburger in Colorado Springs was.
It's crazy to me that people will invest that much money into a building and equipment and paperwork and health inspections to get a restaurant open.
Yeah,
and then they'll be like, "Well, we don't need to train anybody." You guys know how a grill works. Figure it out.
This is how slow it was.
But look at the sign.
It's
lit up. We figured out how to put the power on.
That's the only reason I took more bites of that uncooked hamburger meat than I should have, is because everything was new.
Yeah.
So I took a bite, and I'm like, it shouldn't be that pink.
At all.
At all.
It should be any pink.
It shouldn't be any pink. This isn't a $30 burger from Red Hook Tavern, which we'll get to later.
Do you guys grind your own meat? Sir, this is a Whataburger. I ask that question a lot every time I get a burger. I'm like, do you guys grind your meat here? And if they do, I'll get it mid-rare. But if not,
That's a good question.
Cook it.
I like that.
Well, that's how you know if it's like one cow, then it's easier to eat rare.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was what makes it better, because you know which cow it came from.
Well, not that necessarily, but it's like, if they ground it, it's from like 1 or 2 pieces of meat rather than like an infinite amount of meat where you don't know the control or the quality of it.
The more I know about what it takes to make a burger or a steak or the more I understand like vegans.
Yeah, the more you look at trees, you're like, that looks good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel, because I think the algorithm is trying to make me vegan. They just keep taking all the animals I love to eat, And they're like, yeah, but have you seen him trot through a prairie?
Do you see how much love he has in his heart?
Yeah, like I think I'm close. I just had bacon in my sandwich at Starbucks, but I think I'm getting close to I can't do bacon anymore, or ham, because they keep showing me pigs. Did I talk about the pig with the nose?
Yes, you did.
On the last episode,
Yes.
they had the pig with the nose, and I'm like, how do I was eating that sandwich at Starbucks, and I just, with the nose, and I'm like, I
gave
just
up
feel
veal.
bad. Veal?
Yeah.
Well, that's the one where they torture a baby calf.
Yeah. It's like the most torturous. They just don't let them move. They rip
Yeah.
them out of the mom and then they put them in a box where they can't move. It's
Yeah.
it's despicable.
It's despicable. And
Delicious.
it's so good.
So good.
We had it at the fancy restaurant.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Oh, I love it. And it's like because meatballs, like as an Italian, meatballs are beef, pork, veal ground, and it makes the most incredible meatball. I can't do the veal anymore.
Now when
And
you
then pork is also tough. And I'm doing like just beef. What am I? Some sort of corporate restaurant? Come on,
yeah,
give me the good stuff.
I just feel bad because like even just talking about that, yeah, the meatballs are 3 different kinds of meat. I just think of like how insane that sounds if a cannibal was being interviewed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I like to take an Indian person and an Asian person and a Northern European, and then you grind that up and you make really nice patties. Oh my God, on a summer day with a little side of typo negative blood.
It's called
like
fusion cooking.
Dahmer fusion. But yeah, I don't know. I feel bad every time I eat that stuff.
We went on vacation to a farm once. Like spent like a weekend at a farm, and they just got this baby cow that was like his leg was bent, and so he couldn't. They were gonna kill him at birth, but
Right.
the guy happened to be there for some reason. He's like, "I'll take him," and he was like, and he was like sucking on my hand, and like me and him bonded. And I was like, so this guy just gets to live his life out here for the rest of his life. Like this once was gonna die, and now he lives it. And he goes, "Nah, he'll be a beef cow." I was like, I like connected with this thing, and then I was like, still had steak for dinner. Or, I don't know. I can't.
It's hard.
Yeah.
They remember the movie about the donkey that I watched on the flight to Amsterdam?
You're eating
EO.
donkey?
Yeah, no. Well, it was about I think the movie, the general gist of it was like how inhumane humans are to animals.
Yeah.
And the way they showed it was they started in a circus with this donkey named Eo. It's a Russian movie or French or it's dubbed some language.
Sounds like Eeyore.
Yeah, I think it's Russian for
Also-
Eeyore.
yeah, okay.
But it's EO.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Sure.
And the donkey starts in a circus, but then the circus is shut down by like the Russian PETA that's against the abuse of animals. But the donkey doesn't get sent to a better place. It just goes through this rigmarole of like, what were the other places? I know you didn't watch the movie. But he had to end up going through all these places, and then you just pull for this donkey. I fell in love with that donkey.
Yeah, I remember just looking over at you.
And I was
you were
crying.
Teary-eyed.
Yeah, for this damn
Is this a
donkey.
real donkey?
Oh,
Is
it's
that-
a
is it
live
a documentary?
No,
No,
it's a
it's a
fictional
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
But like, there's a scene in the movie where he ends up at a soccer game, and then he ends up being the mascot for the winning team, and he's at this bar. Like, anytime something bad happens, this donkey leaves. Like, he's such a noble, kind-hearted donkey. Like, he was in a stable where he falls in love with a horse, and they have a moment. You can tell there's a connection between this donkey and this horse. And then the workers bring in this male horse to breed with the female horse, and it just closes up on Eo's face, and he said, "Wow!" And then he's like, "I don't like that," and then he runs out of the stable. That's how he ditches that situation.
That's pretty great.
And then he's at this like after party for the soccer game with the team that he ended up being a mascot for that won, and they're trying to feed him beer and they're blowing bong hits in his face, and he's like, "EO, don't do drugs," and he leaves the party. And that's when hooligans from the opposing team come and beat up everybody at the party. So you're like, hell yeah, EO's smart.
Got out.
He stayed away from the drugs, saved himself an ass kicking. But as the hooligans leave, the headlights of their car catch EO, and they beat up this donkey. And that's when I'm like,
I can't watch that.
I'll kill everybody. How dare you?
While you're eating your ground beef cereal.
See, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And then they showed, and not to spoil the movie, but all animal movies end with the animal dead. Like, None of them live. Airbud, he dies.
Does he?
Operation Dumbo Drop, that parachute doesn't open. What
Wait a
else?
minute.
The Great Panda Adventure, dead at the zoo.
You tell me that.
Am I
elephant-
misremembering all of this?
Maybe I'm misremembering them.
I'm messing with you. They live through all
I was in that moment like, did somebody edit these movies for me so I didn't get sad as a kid?
Airbud gets killed by Vegas bettors that lost their ass on him missing a free throw.
I said a real question in my childhood there. Like, oh my God, Airbud died. More like Ground Bud.
But all of the good animal movies, they kill the animal, you know? And so I should have seen it coming, and I didn't. And I'm like, they're going to let this animal survive. And they don't. And then there's still 4 hours left on this flight to Amsterdam. And I'm emotional. I'm like, give me a second glass of wine that I'm going to spill on these strangers. That's how that went down. I don't think we did an intro for the show.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Welcome to the podcast.
Where's your book?
Oh, we're trying not to
We're not
plug
doing-
the Safe Journal because, like, we're tired of shipping them.
All right.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know if you know, we didn't do it on the last
So
episode.
you didn't. I was going to say something, but I was like, I'm sure they know about
Yeah, we're
this.
trying to get a new shipment in, and Emma's like, just don't plug the journal. Maybe people won't notice. But now we're talking about it.
Sure,
Don't order
my
the
bad.
journal for a couple weeks. Trust me, when we're ready, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
And we'll go, hey,
My bad.
it's all good. No, it's fine. I'm sure people were wondering.
I'm sick of selling so much. Jesus Christ.
I had to wheel these things. One time, I told you that story. One time I got this Russian lady thought I was the post office.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And then I said, no. And I walked past her. But anyway, welcome to the episode. I don't know the episode number, but it doesn't matter. We're here, and we're feeling it. It's a brisk, very cold. What is it, 30 degrees outside?
44? It's very cold.
Man, is it colder in Brooklyn?
Might be, yeah.
Sometimes, because like I went to go drop off the journals this morning, and my phone was like, it's 30 degrees outside. And I'm like, I don't think I go outside when it's 30 degrees.
Yeah.
That's the level of temperature where I find out all my sore spots. You know when you have ice cream or like something sweet and cold, and then you find out, oh, that might be a cavity. That's what that is for my body. Like if I go down the steps wrong, my knee locks up. And then it's like, what? I've never had knee problems my entire life until I've experienced winters.
It's cold out and you realize you haven't had an ear in 2 years. What the hell happened? This is the weirdest thing.
I just get pain, like my arm, my shoulder. I have bad shoulders, but I survive. But it hurts doing nothing. My shoulder will just be like, just this pain that runs right into this part and all the way down.
You're like, oh, a cool breeze is coming. Shoulders locking up.
Is it the winter solstice?
I think it's a La Nina year based on my shoulder.
You had an ankle or something. You had an injured
You got
hoof.
2 ankles.
Yeah, sometimes it like locks up. I
Yeah.
have issues too.
Yeah, you have an ankle issue where sometimes we'll be walking and you're like, and then we have to stop and you're like, oh dear. And it's like Emma's, and I mean this with all love, you're a little on the dramatics.
What?
I'm kidding. With the injuries a little bit, like,
Maybe.
yeah. All right, well, that'll be
If you think I'm dramatic, maybe I am.
Oh, well, that will be a conversation later. I'm kidding. But no, I get all my knees lock up, my shoulder hurts. You have an ankle that acts up when it's cold. It's in the back. That's where you go
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
That's where yours pops in.
And more recently, when I bend over to do something, I can't get back up.
That might just be general aging.
Yeah, that's age stuff.
Is it?
I have to roll out of bed. Like I have to rock myself. I'll be in bed like this, like, time to get up. I'll kind of launch myself out of bed. My lower back is just, it's done.
Damn.
Yeah, my lower back doesn't want to get out of bed ever. If it was up to him, we're staying down.
Do you guys have a lower bed, or is it?
No, we used to, and I had to
Okay.
fight for a regular sized bed.
Higher bed.
I was like, every time I get up, I'm like, what's the noise going to be today? Because it's always like I have to like do that to get out of bed.
I want to see that.
And finally, no, it's not good. And I'm not wearing a shirt, so it's all a wrinkly mess. Like it's not cool.
You're 2 years away from having that handlebar dangling from the ceiling. Where you gotta get yourself up to like Captain Dan. Lieutenant Dan. That's who I'm talking
That was before he was Lieutenant Dan. That's the prequel.
Captain Dan.
We were staying at my folks' house a little while ago, and they have like a metal bar headboard. And that was the best because I could get out of bed. I just grab that and like pull myself out. I was like, I need hooks.
Yeah.
My dream is to have hooks everywhere. So I'm kind of like, just like roll my way through life.
A subway car in your house.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
You know how they have those adjustable beds, like the hospital beds?
We have that.
Yeah, but like
broke.
take it. It broke.
It broke. They're no good.
Really?
Yeah, it just stopped working.
Would you have it up in an up post during coitus? Like what happened?
Yeah, we banged it broke. No, it just stopped. It just the electronics just stopped working. Yeah, and we like just kind of ignored it. We're like, I guess we'll just have a regular bed, and now it's out of warranty.
Yeah.
Yeah, we screwed up.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
We're shopping for a new bed. And they all have those, like, try it for 120 days. We looked at Satva, which is a very expensive mattress, but you can try it for 360. You can try it for a year and then still send it back.
Yeah.
Which is, but she doesn't, we got screwed on some tickets to a play that we can't return. We paid for
the protection to be able to cancel and get your money back.
Yeah,
and so we were going to cancel to get our money back, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you a voucher," and we're like, "Okay, all right. Well, I guess I'll take the voucher. Won't let you cancel."
Yeah, so there is no refund.
Yeah,
and so now we can't even get the voucher because their system's down.
What?
Yeah,
that's so dumb. So
That was here
I
in
don't
the city?
trust any company.
yeah. This
now.
is here in the city. It's for that Adam Driver. Adam Driver's in a play.
Yeah.
It's for that play. She's a big Adam Driver fan. I like him. He's always
Who's
lumbering
nice?
around.
Gorgeous.
He's
Great actor. I mean,
he's beautiful in a very attainable kind of way.
he's beautiful in the same way that like
He's girl
Rami
next door.
Malek is beautiful. You know, like
Yeah, where you're like, not
Huh?
all of this is right.
yeah.
Yeah. Someone fell asleep at the wheel during the making of your face, but it all still kind
But
of
it
worked
worked out, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Picasso's painting. You're like, that's beautiful, right? There's two eyes on one side of the head. That's
I
fine.
think I'd kiss that. Or I think I'd lick that painting. What the hell's going on right now? They wouldn't give you your money. So did you ask what's the protection? What did you protect?
Yeah, I mean, nothing apparently.
Did we even talk to anyone on the phone, or was this all
Yeah,
through
I chatted with
chat?
somebody, and they're like, "Oh, our system's down. We'll get back to you." I'm like, "Well, can you get back to me today?" They're like, "Oh, we can't promise a time." So it's been like a couple days.
When was the show? Did it already happen? The date?
It's in
It's supposed to
December.
be December. We were trying to
okay.
make it last night.
Yeah.
and-
Because they said you can
Switch.
dates
Yeah.
if there's tickets available, and there was. So we were trying to, I don't know, we're trying to live our lives. You know, we're trying to get out there and do our thing. We're trying to soak in what New York City is. We'll get to more of that later. But this is the special Thanksgiving episode. You don't know that.
Yeah, I
but
do. It's Thanksgiving. Are you
yeah, what are you talking? We didn't
kidding me?
record
My Thanksgiving
this.
cigar right here. I brought this for this reason.
That looks like a Slim Jim from here.
All right. Okay. I'm taking my camera off permanently.
Doesn't that look like is that a high-end cigar?
This is a Cuban.
Is that one good?
Smuggled into the country
Oh my God.
from a person that I will not mention.
What body part? Or like, what do you mean by smuggle?
Butthole.
Just
Based on the taste. Well, it's illegal, so you can't have. I mean, you know, people do it all the time. But
Remember the Seinfeld episode where they got they weren't Cubans, they were
Cuban people.
no, they were Ecuadorian.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, he thought they were going to be Cuban, so he's like, I'm going to roll my own cigars with these Cubans that are coming. And it turns out they're Ecuadorian and they can't roll them. And then Poppy at his diner, he's like, I lost my cooks. I need to make crepes, but they rolled the crepes too tight. And so every time
Exploded, yeah.
someone stabbed it, hot jelly would squirt in their face. And they're like, they rolled them too tight. They're not Cuban.
They're not Cubans. They're not the real thing.
Don't you like it when we reminisce over old episodes and movies and such?
Sure.
It's we had I don't know.
So Thanksgiving is coming up.
Yes,
Okay.
which is my favorite holiday.
Really?
It's out of all of them. Arbor Day, not so much.
That makes sense.
Thanksgiving, number one. Christmas is fine, but there's too much weight on Christmas. There's gifts. There's like this unbelievable social pressure to see your family. And I like that Thanksgiving doesn't have that. Thanksgiving is a loose holiday.
Yeah.
You spend it with your friends. No one thinks you had a falling out with your family. You spend it with your family. But people can come over. It's a loose holiday.
Yeah.
There's football on. It's a lot of food. It's my favorite by a country mile. We're going to Phoenix to hang out with your friends, also my friends, but they were your friends first. There's always that distinction.
Yeah.
You know, and we're going down there, and it's my favorite. Thanksgiving is my Coachella. It's like
You get hammered and sunburnt.
I get a 3-day pass. Thanksgiving is not 1 day; it's a 3-day pass.
Charge $19 for a taco.
Oh, dude, I get the wristband, all you can eat custard and eggnog.
I like it.
And there's a line for the bathroom. I see all the opening acts. I taste all of them, and
Beautiful.
I love it. Like pumpkin pie is my absolute favorite. New York Times put out an article of like the best holiday pies, and they all had like this delicious custard top, and I want it.
I love pumpkin pie
I
so
love
much.
pie. I love pie. You're not a big pie fan. You're a cake
I
girl.
think it's overrated.
You think pie?
I like the crust,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but there's too much goop in there.
That's the good part.
No.
You
Wait,
like
so
I think the ratio's off. I think you need like more crust, like even parts crust, even parts filling.
you want a deep dish. You want a deep dish pie.
What if it's
I think
layered?
pies are deep dish. I want a thick crust pie.
On top?
Below, on top.
Wherever.
What if it's layered? Layered
Yeah,
pie.
that could work.
That'd be
like
great.
a club pie, like a
Yeah.
club sandwich with the middle layer
Yes.
of crust in there.
I think that this is a brilliant idea,
Oh my God.
and I want to pitch you another idea.
What do you
Good
got?
idea.
Should I say it out loud? Because someone's going to steal this. I truly think this could be the next revolution in desserts.
Not
Say
enough
it. It's
people
all about
listen to
the
this
execution.
podcast for it to be stolen. Go ahead.
It's an ice cream called Mostly Toppings,
Okay.
where it's more cookie dough than ice cream. So it's like ice cream just kind of filling the gaps between the cookie dough or the moose tracks or whatever. Because that's what you want. When you get a chunky ice cream, you start digging and you're like, where's the digging for the little chunk to come out?
Yeah.
And you're just like eating the ice cream to get to the cookie dough. What if it's mostly toppings?
I love that.
I think that's
It's a
awesome.
great idea.
I think
And
that's a
now-
great idea.
super stealable. Like anyone can just start putting more stuff in their ice cream.
Yeah.
So it's not like a, copyrightable idea. But why aren't we doing that?
Yeah.
You don't even have to change the name because cookies and cream does imply there are more cookies than cream.
Yeah, exactly.
And cookies with a side of cream.
Yeah.
Because anytime we share an ice cream, you dig out the good jujubes.
Right, but what if you didn't have to
I
do
do.
that?
And then you're like, yeah, there you go. And
There
I
you go.
look and it
Have fun.
it looks like a sandbox after kids had at it. They just like dug out all the treasures that are just weird. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll have chocolate ice cream. But yeah, but if I would love a bunch of those chocolate giblets in there.
Just give me giblets.
Give me the giblets.
That's what you should call it. Giblets.
Wasn't there
Chunky AF?
chunky A? Wasn't there a Captain Crunch all berries? Remember that?
Yes.
Where they made the mistake. Were you a Captain Crunch gal?
No.
But they had Captain Crunch has the little berries, and I think in the late '90s there was no rules or regulation to how much sugar a child should have.
Right.
And
Still not that good in America.
Yeah, I don't
but-
have any kids, but I assume it's better, but probably not. And they did one where it's like, what if we took out the most healthiest part of the cereal, which was just the corn little puffs? We got rid of those, and we did all sugar puffs. So it was all berries, and I used to, bowl of Fruity Pebbles and some privacy. I could tricks. Are you kidding me?
Dude, I used to put half milk in the Fruity Pebbles because it just absorbed. It just made
Just
them just like
soaking
a
'em
little
up.
crunchy, and then it was just like oh my god,
I like
such a
Weetabix.
fat pig.
Weetabix.
The heck's that?
What Weetabix is it? Because you spent time in the UK.
Yeah. We
What
used
are
to live in the
Weetabix?
It's like
It does sound like a
it's
British
a
racial
very
slur.
bor-
You Weetabix.
It's what they yelled at the donkey before they beat it.
That's what they yell at people from Wales. You Weetabix,
It's
you.
a very boring cereal, but they're like shaped like this, and they're pretty big.
Oh, they're like shredded wheat, but the whole brick,
Yeah,
like a wheat brick.
pretty much.
Oh, that is a joyless
And
cereal.
I found out why I like it. Remember, my brother told us that they were on sale, and my dad bought like a shit ton of them or something.
Oh yeah, these look. I would love these. This is
Didn't-
great. I love shredded wheat.
he found a magazine clipping of a coupon, right?
Yeah.
And then he what did he make copies, or he dug up all the coupons?
He like hacked the coupon or something.
He hacked the coupon, and he had all these hungry kids at home. So he went and bought like 200 boxes of Weetabix,
Weetabix.
Weetabix, and then everyone's childhood in the UK in your family was just Weetabix.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
What do you eat shredded wheat today or no? Is it like a nostalgic?
It's like I think it's more nostalgic.
Yeah.
Well, you would eat
And it
Weetabix
also
if you
makes
saw
you
it.
regular.
I could use some.
Do you have you had it since you were a kid?
No, I haven't seen it here. I feel like I've heard of it here.
$30 for a box on eBay.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow.
Good Lord.
it's a lot.
It's a good
yeah.
birthday gift from you to me.
Okay. I'll remember that.
Actually, Amazon, you can buy a value pack for $24.69. Amazon?
Importing foreign cereal.
They're called breakfast biscuits.
And you pour milk and then break them up,
Yeah.
You just let it get soggy and then
you eat it like a brick,
you use a spoon and
and you break it off.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I see.
You can also put berries, honey,
Does it come frosted?
brown sugar.
Well, there's
you
frosted
can pour
wheat.
a little sugar on top, but it's not very sweet. It's like a boring cereal.
That sounds
Yeah.
upsetting.
I see a picture here with Weetabix and baked beans on top of it, and I'm
What?
starting to question everything.
With milk?
No, it's just beans and Weetabix.
Oh.
That sounds like a challenge.
It's horrendous. Nobody wants this.
Hey, it's kind of like when you, I like everything sweet. Mm-hmm. I like everything too sweet to the
Look at
point
that.
where,
Oh, gross.
ew. Oh,
That's horrendous.
that looks like remember the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Remember those two old lazy people that never got out of the bed? That looks
Grandma
like
George and Grandma Georgina and Grandpa George.
Yeah.
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 Charlie, bring over the Weetabix with the baked
Aw,
beans.
God, please don't do that.
I have no right having Weetabix and beans when cabbage stew seems like a luxury. That is one of my favorite movies, so I will
Charlie
quote that
and
one
the
too
Giant.
all day if you would
Have
like.
fun.
What a weird.
What
Yeah,
a
that's
weird
disgusting.
thing we
I
learned.
hate that.
You know that was that guy's job in the movie we watched. The movie we watched at the Nighthawk Cinema. I wrote the title down, but his job was he worked at Weetabix.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah. We Live in Time. Mm-hmm. Did you watch that movie? Just came out. We Live in Time. It's the guy who plays Spider-Man, and then the girl. What did that girl do?
I
know
don't
she's.
I don't think I've ever seen her before.
You've never seen her before? I feel like I've seen her in something.
Oh, it's what's his name?
Peter Parker.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew
And Florence
Garfield.
Pugh. Yeah.
Did you know he's a Brit?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Man, do you ever feel lied to
Constantly.
when like because then we watched the movie and we both went, that guy's a Brit?
Yeah.
So he's been lying to us through all these other movies?
I didn't know that Batman, what's his name? Christian Bale?
Oh,
British?
Brit.
You know, I found out as an adult was British. That honestly screwed me up. Clapton.
Eric Clapton, yeah.
No idea. Until I was like
Yeah.
maybe 35 and I heard an interview. I go, what? It threw me. It's fine because most good, singers of that generation were British, but just, man, that really screwed me up.
Yeah.
That'd be like finding out Bruce Springsteen's British. Like, to me, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, that'd
that'd be crazy.
Hulk Hogan from Wales. And you're like, what? The guy, what?
Oh, yeah, brother.
He's like a master actor. And he's like, I was just into pro wrestling. That's what I was into.
No, I just like to pretend like I don't know how to play the bass.
You know, he tried out for Metallica. That's my favorite Hulk Hogan lie, is that he auditioned for Metallica and Lars really wanted him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't have time to be in Metallica.
The pathological liar. right?
Pathological liar Hulk Hogan, who's already lived the most amazing life ever, doesn't need to
Doesn't need
lie,
it, no.
consistently lies about his life, and he doesn't have to. He
Not
could
even a
just
little
tell
bit.
the truth, and people would be like, oh my God, you did all that? And like, yeah, I was almost a bassist for Metallica. By the way, this is a personality you're going to run into at Christmas. Everyone has that cousin or that uncle that like did something cool, but they never have any proof.
Mm-hmm.
They never have the, and they're like, show me one photograph of you anywhere near that person. And you're like, wow, there wasn't time for photos. But that movie we watched, We Live in Time, you picked it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be like a romance. It is a romancy movie.
Mm-hmm.
What was the description? they go through a hard
It's
thing.
about a couple, and then they face an obstacle in their life, and I was like,
Almut and Tobias are brought together by a surprise encounter that changes their lives.
Yes.
They embark on a path challenged by the limits of time. They learn to cherish each moment with each other and their unconventional love story.
that was
Yes, that's it. And
For
then,
showtimes, press 1.
so off of that, Emma's like, let's watch this. And I'm like, okay. And then we show up, and like 2 minutes into the movie, Emma goes, is this about cancer?
I hate cancer movies.
she hates cancer. She's like, And I'm like, is that not good? She's like, I don't want to watch a cancer movie. That's so sad.
And I also have health anxiety.
Yeah.
So I don't like watching health
Right.
related movies.
Yeah.
Are you a hypochondriac?
Oh,
Yes.
the biggest.
Give me what's a pure example of your hypochondria?
Cancer. Like,
No, I mean like actively, like what does it do to you? I'll give you an example. I'm a hypochondriac as well. I used to have panic attacks all the time and thought I was dying of heart attacks before I knew it was panic. And I would go sit in the emergency room waiting for a panic attack
Oh
to
my
happen
God.
because I was like, well, I'm sure I'm going to have one tonight, so I'll just wait here until it happens. So then I'm already here. And then it actually stopped me from having a panic attack by being in the emergency room.
I don't know if I'm that extreme.
I'm not anymore. That was before I knew
Okay.
I had panic.
Oh,
but
good. Yeah, I mean, I think I just spend hours and hours on Google just Googling things
Oh, no.
for so long. And then I start like giving myself exams, watching YouTube videos and doing more exams and then asking him, like, what do you think? Do you think I have it? And then he's like, I don't know. Like, I don't think so.
Because we're on very different ends of the spectrum. She's on the hypochondriac and I'm on I was raised to ignore everything.
You were raised on put a little dirt on it.
Yeah. Well, I was raised on, we don't have any money, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine. That's how I was
And
raised.
I'm raised on free healthcare in Canada.
Yeah. So she abused the free healthcare in
Sure.
Canada. Every time she had like a weird itch, she's like, what's this going on back here? And they're like, I don't know, nothing. You get a bug bite or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's on Google all the time. Like if there's something new. You know what's bad though is sometimes she's right. And that feeds in
Yeah.
to future paranoia. Remember the torn ligament in your hand? One time we were at the airport and she's like, look at this. She's flexing her hand and there's this ligament over here that goes over her knuckle and just kept sliding to the side. And she's like, is that weird? And I'm like, I don't think so. I'd probably stop looking at it if I were you. And
Put your hand in your pocket.
Turns
What do you need
out-
that hand for?
yeah, turns out it was a thing
Oh, no.
that potentially could require surgery. We had to go see a hand
I
specialist.
torn my tendon.
Yeah, you tore your tendon, and thankfully they put her in a splint, and it healed itself, so surgery was not needed.
Yeah.
But that was one of the times you were right, and then every time you're right, like that feeds into the paranoia of like, what if I'm right about this other thing too?
Yeah.
You know?
But
Once
I remember,
every 10 years, you're right. You're just like, well, let's rewind the clock, boys. We're
Yeah.
we're going to be worried about everything for a while.
It's true. But I remember when I had the torn tendon, I thought it was arthritis for the longest
Yes.
time.
Yes.
But yeah.
And you were really upset. You were watching all the arthritis videos. Every time she turned on YouTube, there was just like another person doing a vlog living with
And
arthritis.
I feel myself getting hot and sweaty. I think
Oh no! You are healthy.
Well, that's
And
a sign of a
wood.
stroke. That's a
God.
stroke.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you're
this
hot
is-
and sweaty for no reason.
don't do that. This is another one of her things. I have to knock on wood all the time.
there's a little bit of OCD in there too.
Yeah, I have to do that. I've never knocked on more wood.
That's
in my-
particle board, so
That doesn't count. What about this?
it's at some point there was wood near that.
It's made to look like wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I'm like, yeah, I hope this doesn't happen. Like, knock on wood. What's the matter with you? Hey, I'm really happy my career's doing well. Knock on wood.
My older
knock
sister,
on wood.
my older sister is a huge self-diagnoser, and recently she was like, "Mike, no, seriously, I'm 100% autistic." I was like, "I'm not having this conversation." with you.
Yeah.
That is not self-diagnosable. I'm sorry. No, like, because I really think about things for too long. I'm like, that's not
That's
not what that is. Stop. No, I should go to the doctor. No, you should go to a therapist. That's what I think you should do.
Oh, it's a spectrum, Michael. It's a spectrum.
Autism is?
Autism.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Woo.
Yeah.
You could be over here, or you could be that little girl that gave us this coffee. I didn't see her blink the entire time. She's on there somewhere.
Cafe, not to make a plug here, but
Yeah.
since there's no sponsor, Cafe Joyo.
Okay.
They're all over the world. They're a coffee and bakery that all the employees are neurodivergent or have special needs. Great coffee, great people. They're very happy in there. It's great. Takes a little bit longer to get your coffee.
Did they get your order right?
Get your order right. But
they get it too right.
There are some quirks. Like the last time I ordered from them, before he put the lid on, he just kind of. I was like, "You smell that coffee, my guy? Smells good."
Go there.
It's right out here. It's right on
What's
the
it
corner.
called again?
Cafe Joyeux, Joyeux.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great. They're so sweet in there. They're very kind. They make sure that you're taken care of, and
That's so funny.
it's a beautiful thing.
I
But they
love
also
that.
smell your coffee. Fine with me.
Yeah,
Let's do
let
it.
'em.
Sniff away, bud.
You know what that reminds me of is the coffee shop we really loved in Port Charlotte, run by all senior
yeah.
citizens.
Yeah.
It's now closed, but it was a
Well.
really ownership passed on. But no, I'm kidding. But like it was all elderly women, and it was this cool house that they renovated
It
into
was
a coffee
really cool.
shop.
Yeah.
Everything was really good.
It felt like you were at your grandma's house.
It did.
Yeah.
None of the order was right.
Sure.
Never.
Yeah, she just brought stuff out, and you're like, yeah, I guess. And then they'd leave. Like they just ran it on their own, kind of.
You know what though?
I
What
liked
are they?
it.
Starbucks?
No,
You didn't go in there expecting fast service. Like I got a meter and I got to.
No, we were
We'll go
there to sit.
grandma's coffee
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah, we were there to sit for a while, and you were going to sit for a while.
Yeah.
And everything that came out wasn't what we ordered, but it was all really good.
It was all good.
It was all very, very good.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
So
can I get some? Do you guys have almond milk? This generation. All right, that's. I didn't order a side of Jackass, but thanks, Grandma.
you know what I could go without? Because there are more of these like branded coffee shops, whether it's neurodivergent or the elderly women that started their coffee shop. I could go without the broy coffee shop. We're like, we brew our coffee through bullets. And you're like, well, we don't have to.
Do you have to name your coffee after a gun? Black rifle, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's
It's not just a rifle. It's a black rifle.
we take our coffee. There's just some jacked retired SWAT member who's like your barista, and you're like, I don't. It's weird if you're not gonna make a
I love
flower.
the veteran owned.
I
love
love
the
that.
idea.
Love that.
But can we call it like Lily Daisy Fun
Yeah.
Time Happy Coffee?
I don't know.
Here's your coffee. Black rifle.
You know, there's a coffee shop in Japan that's all the servers have Alzheimer's. So
Oh, you've told me about this.
yeah, you go there and nobody expects to get their order right, but it's a neat idea.
You go for the experience.
Yeah, it's cute.
Wow. I mean, I've been around a decent amount of Alzheimer's. I
Or
used
is
to
it
work at
dementia? Is that the same
Dementia
thing?
cafes.
dementia. Yeah, I mean, it's a.
Restaurant of mistaken orders
Yeah.
is what it translates
Yeah.
I
to.
love it.
Yeah. Promote understanding of dementia and spread kindness all over the world.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the translation's tough though.
It's-
Restaurant of mistaken orders.
It sounds like it's from a prophet.
I would love I wonder if there's reviews. People just being like, I ordered. Shut up.
I would love it if people stumbled in there not knowing, and they're like, "How is this place open?" Everyone looks so happy, like the customers are all into it. They're taking photos, and then like my drink never came. Someone forgot they worked there. Like
Just
that,
left.
that has to happen. Oh my god, where the hell? And then they gotta leave. Yeah. Oh yeah, we dealt with that a lot. at the
People love
retirement
this
home.
place. Everyone says so happy. What a great time. Yeah, that's cool. I love
like
stuff
that.
like that.
I like that.
Yeah. They sniff their coffee too, but just to remind them what it is. Coffee? Got it. Should we be making fun? No.
Yes.
Is it fun? Yes.
I think, listen, if you can't laugh at these things, then you got to cry at them. So what are you going to choose to do? Are
You ever
gonna
make
sit-
fun of somebody in the crowd, like accidentally, and they have a problem?
Yep.
And they are the ones laughing harder than everybody?
Sometimes?
Usually that's
yeah,
how it goes.
yeah, that is how it
If
goes.
someone you make a cancer joke or
Yeah.
something comes up and they whoa, and then the one guy, I just survived cancer. This is great. I had that happen to me once before. Never forget this couple. Their first day, they just found out that they didn't have cancer. That she didn't have cancer.
Remission.
Came to a comedy club. Somehow cancer got brought up, and we had the best 20 minutes of just riffing about cancer and
That's
making
so
fun of
cool.
them. It was so much fun.
And
And
then
they were-
usually Karen in the back gets offended.
Oh yeah, everyone else was like, "Whoa!" It was like,
Yeah.
I don't care about any of you right now.
Yeah.
This guy's
Yeah.
having the best time of his life. I don't care what happens to you.
Yeah.
Me and him, we're having
Yeah.
fun.
You can't get secondhand offended
No.
if the person that's got it is having a great time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have had that happen once, but it did not go well because I didn't know. I was you know when you're on stage and there's like a bright light and you have a blind spot in the middle of the, and then I did my whole set. I was featuring, did 20 minutes, and right at the end I nailed this joke and a really weird laugh came out of the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that laugh sounds like it gets a check in the mail. And then everyone stopped laughing. And I looked around the light and I was like, oh, uh-oh. Yeah, someone had a little bit of the syndrome. And I felt like such, when you're just in the moment and you're just letting lines fly and everything's crushing. And then you say that one thing and then you realize, I shouldn't have said any of that. That was that moment.
But folks, was I wrong? Let's focus on the important part here.
It's funny because Zoltan's always dead on.
Sometimes I can guess what people do for a living.
I remember
It's-
you guessed this lady in the audience. You're like, you have what are those?
A Pomeranian.
You have a Pomeranian, don't you? And she's like, actually, I do.
Yeah.
I think comedians, especially if they do the road a lot,
Yeah.
we're soothsayers.
Yeah,
with
it's
that stuff.
crazy.
Yeah, I can call it so hard. Becca has the same. She'll be like, "How do you know that?" I go, "You just look at them and tell.
Yeah.
You can tell immediately."
It's because we've seen too many people, and it's not even a skill so much as it's just remembering past instances.
It's like when waiters can not write down orders because they just know.
Right.
Yeah,
It's not like a real skill necessarily. It's just like, oh, I've just done it for so long, I can do it.
it's a learned
Yeah.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, but I have gotten it right. I remember one time it was a private event at the Madhouse Comedy Club, and I didn't like the audience there was too gelled. They knew each other too well, and they were dressed weird enough. Like they were wearing scarves, some of them. And I'm like, what do you guys do? And every time I asked what they did or what the group was or what it was about, and I'm like, eventually I got to the point where I'm like, just be straight up. Are you guys swingers? And then that's when they realized I nailed it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I was eventually going to get to it. There is a look that swingers have.
for sure.
It's a lot of like pastel, blousey, like the guys, not even the women. I can't tell a woman. I can tell a man swinger because it's just a lot of blouse. You're like, oh, I didn't know they put rhinestones on a lapel.
And really white teeth.
Really white teeth.
That's
yes.
another sign. You see an older man with really, really white teeth, they probably have upside down pineapples somewhere around their house.
I don't know what that means, but
That's you put that on your door, on your hotel door, and it lets people know that you're down.
really,
Yeah,
an
yeah.
upside down pineapple.
Yeah.
These are the things you walk by in life, and you're like, that's
Next
not
time
part
you
of the
see it.
hotel.
Or sometimes they'll have like a little pin or a brooch, and it's an upside. Just letting people know. It's like a secret code.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, but bright, like Arctic white teeth. That's a swinger guy for
Why
sure.
is the teeth a thing?
Because they're trying to look young and like hot to these. They want to swing with younger women. So
That's not what I would have guessed.
assume. Yeah,
I would have guessed they want to look clean.
that too. Yeah.
Like if you're gonna get into the intimate tussling, you want to make sure that you present a clean demeanor. So there's not a lot of shaggy
Interesting.
swingers. They all just kind of look kind of like the cross between like a used car salesman and a blackjack dealer.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between those two looks is what a swinger looks like.
Yeah.
And they'll wear a scarf in San Diego. And you're like, no one in San Diego wears a scarf. Especially 5 of you all in the same audience. And everyone's kind of, they're like laughing, but they're also picking each other out. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
she'll hold my pineapple.
I had one in Richmond, Virginia. 30 people was the entire crowd, all from one group. And it turned out they were all, we're all widows and widowers. We meet up as a group.
Oh, no.
And then that eventually turned into, you guys are all having sex, right?
And
Yep,
then
turns out,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I hope that was the way they responded to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Eventually we got it out that was what's happening. They were like, you're not just doing this for social reasons, right? You're doing this because you have to? Perfect.
Wow.
Oh man, I when they do those kind of events, I remember one time I worked with Bijan. You remember Bijan?
Yeah.
And we went to an all-night dab lounge in Colorado Springs. I don't think it's there anymore, but it was like in a bad neighborhood. Like the Uber driver didn't want to drop us off.
Hilarious.
And he's like, "You guys want to get out here?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is where the place is." And then he's like, "Yeah, it's a rough neighborhood." And I couldn't tell. And so we went in and we got too high. And then we went back to our hotel, and our hotel was having an annual thing of fallen firefighters. So the entire long hallway to get to the elevator was just pictures made by families, like posters, of these firefighters that have passed away in horrible events, maybe 9/11, maybe just whatever. And then you're high, you're like too high.
Sure.
And then you're walking through just this sad, just so many mustaches, like all the way back to the hotel. And then like we had to share a room, and me and my buddy had seen so much trauma walking through the hallway, and we're so high, we didn't even say anything to each other. We just laid in bed. Or like, I guess that's the end of the night. And then we just closed our eyes.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's tough when you're high because you don't know either, like, was it sad? Or
Yeah,
am
well,
I just like, did that even happen?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's this weird mixture. And then as we were there at the hotel longer, we could tell it was like a positive, it was a positive, like everyone was trying to be happy. You know, like it was like a support center community. Like, hey, we meet up once a year. We're like a family. We all have this in common. So it's this sweet thing. But when you show up at 1 a.m, high as a kite, and you walk down just that quiet hallway with the flickering light, and you just look at these poster boards, you're like, this could be the worst dream I've ever had.
And then each step is like a mile.
Yes, yeah, the hallway gets longer, and you're like, oh, dude.
It's like a pile of Homer's burgers, and he just keeps eating them, but and the pile never goes down. I'm never going to get out of this hallway.
How are we doing on time?
We're like at 50-ish.
50-ish? Cool. Let me see if there was something else I was going to add in here. Oh, we did talk about burgers. Have you ever had the Red Hook Tavern burger?
Oh, yeah.
$30 burger.
I don't remember that.
It was 30.
Wow.
Worth it.
Yeah.
It was
I remember
really
being
good.
I don't remember being expensive.
It was real. They had a $130 steak on their menu. It was dry aged for, I didn't order that, but it was dry aged for like 65 days or something crazy.
I have not been to the Red Hook Tavern. I am thinking of something else. Nope, not been here.
It's on the list. My manager Mark always sends me like Instagram videos of the top cheeseburgers in the city. So we went to 7th Street Burger a couple weeks ago. Have you had the 7th Street Burger, Smash Burger?
I've had 7th Street.
I thought it was
good.
tasty.
Yeah.
And then
good. Smash burgers, you can't go wrong.
I love
It's really
a good
tough
smash.
to screw up a smash burger.
It's so good. And then we went to Red Hook Tavern, which is a thick burger. It's like a bar burger. Absolutely delicious. So good. You thought it was a little rare. I think they might have given me your burger. I got medium rare. You got medium.
Yeah.
But I had a great time.
It was good.
And we ate it in the cold because there was no seating inside. So they sat us outside and one heater. So our face is on fire. By the way, those place heaters, those space heaters, they only heat what's in front of you. So like the left side of my face was the sun and my thighs were frozen. Like that's how it ended up happening. We left with sunburns on half of our faces. It's like we sat we passed out in a tanning bed facing the wrong direction. And so that sucked. But like we were kept warm by this delicious, thick, juicy, not overpriced. $30 is way too much for a cheeseburger. But then you eat it and you're like, I don't feel like I was robbed.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like someone stuck me, it wasn't and I was ready for the price.
Yeah.
I didn't show up and I'm like,
Went to the Mermaid Inn on the Upper West Side. They just opened. Great burger.
Mermaid Inn.
Great bar. Everything was great. I love it. Very gorgeous. Like it looks like the Smith, but new.
Yes.
Which is nice. Yeah.
I wish we could have eaten inside at the Red Hook Tavern because
was
that
so
looks
nice
so
in
cool
there.
in there. The dim lighting and the hard dark wood with the bar.
Glass of Montepulciano and a $25 burger. We're having a good time.
Yes. What was that first thing you said?
Montepulciano.
Is that a wine?
It's a red Italian wine. Yeah.
There you
I
go.
love it.
Say it again.
Montepulciano. You have to say it like that.
Montepulciano.
Montepulciano.
It's multiple Puccianos.
Yes. Now, if you get a bad one, it tastes like rubber bands. If you get a good one, it tastes like good rubber bands.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's got a little bit of a rubbery, but in a good way. I know that sounds crazy.
A
But
good rubbery flavor.
a good rubber band flavor.
Nice.
It's very good.
Huh.
Well,
I like a red wine with the. It goes well with the meats.
It does.
I had a beer with mine because I was in Red Hook, Brooklyn. I was thinking of the pro wrestler Taz, who was billed from Red Hook, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat this with a beer. And it's a kind of a foo-foo restaurant. And is Red Hook gentrifying or is it gentrified?
They're holding on.
Because
it seems like
there was it seemed like an out-of-place restaurant. Mm-hmm. We were sitting outside, and there was like clearly people that are just lower. Like how do you say this polite? Like I grew up poor. We can say it. Yeah. Poor people. There's poor people there, and it feels weird to have like a fancy restaurant in a poor working class neighborhood.
Yeah, if you're gonna gentrify it, like ease in.
Yeah,
maybe
ease
start
in.
with a $15 burger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe start as a cart.
Yeah.
You should be a cart. Like if you're gonna gentrify a neighborhood, send like one white lady in that's making smoothies, and then maybe like another spot that's like a yoga thing, and then maybe like a smash burger place.
Sure.
Like ease it, sprinkle in. Don't just come in and be like, we're doing dog yoga. And you're like, no, you can't open with dog yoga. You're gonna be, what are you doing, dude? You got to ease in with the gentrification.
I guess we could do pit bulls. That should be all right.
Vaccinated?
Can you take the spike off of his collar? Or... Yeah, Red Hook Tavern opened in 2019, so yeah, they might be part of the problem.
Yeah, I think they were about 10 years too early.
But Red Hook is like an Italian old school working neighborhood,
Yep.
Irish Italian. So it's one would say that is already gentrified, but but who knows?
I see.
Yeah, all of New York's going to be gone eventually.
Yeah, the history of well, you can see it. I remember when we first moved here, they had the article, "The Californication of New York."
It's happening, man.
It's
every time you turn around.
Every time I go to a new place, there's just wood paneling everywhere, and they put a bunch of fruit in a bucket right in the front.
Still can't get a burrito, good burrito to save my life, but
no,
one day.
Tacos, there's a couple good taco spots. Yeah. But burritos, that's a
Tex-Mex is just, you can't do it. California Mexican, they just haven't been able to figure it out here.
It's just that all the people that can make a good burrito are like, I'm staying where the weather's good.
Yeah.
I'm not going out there.
Yeah.
That looks terrifying. But we had my mouth is watering thinking of that burger. I want to go back. I want to go back, just get the burger, no fries, and no bread. Remember we were drilling that bread? That's actually how I judge a restaurant. If you have good bread and butter, if you have good bread and butter, I'm like, this is a great restaurant.
I feel like we can make a compilation of all the times you've talked about bread and butter on this podcast.
Do I talk about it a lot?
Talk about it.
It's my favorite
so
thing.
much.
If I ever get arrested for murder and then like I'm going to be sentenced and then they're going to have the last meal, you don't even need, it was bread and butter.
Yeah.
It was bread and butter and like maybe a burger or a steak later, but I was filling up on the bread and butter.
Lot of butter.
Salted butter, creamy, soft butter, leave it out butter.
Whipped butter.
Whipped butter? Oh, just take a little, dab it under my
I'll give you,
lip.
you want to hear a trick? My favorite trick with the butter? Unsalted butter, sprinkle a little finishing salt on it. That's a good time.
Yes.
The texture of like a Malden salt and the butter and the bread. Oh, forget it. I'm just going to get fat.
You give me a soft French bread with the butter and that jam from the movie The Pianist. We're in. That's my favorite jam, is the movie The Pianist.
That's your jam?
We need to wrap up this episode. We got 2 to record today. I don't know what happened there. We just started rambling lately, and we ended up having an episode.
It was a good time.
I think it was.
Should I start
good.
recording?
Yeah, we'll stop this one, and then we'll flow into the next one. We're going to take a break. Might drop at number 2. But don't forget, go to zoltancomedy.com. Check my upcoming dates. Don't order a safe journal at Big Man Mike for all the socials.
Sure.
And until next week, toodles, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Trekking heavier, traveling light. There's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where I am.